morning and welcome back to our news bulletin, coming to live from Warsaw. I'm Salia Strzemska. EU leaders issued a statement on Ukraine following an emergency meeting of foreign ministers. This comes ahead of Trump-Putin summit in Alaska this Friday. They thanked Trump for working to end the war with Russia and urged that Ukraine be included in any peace talks. All EU member states, excluding Hungary, have signed the statement.
The people of Ukraine must have the freedom to decide their future. The path to peace in Ukraine cannot be decided without Ukraine. Meaningful negotiations can only take place in the context of a ceasefire or reduction of hostilities. Russia's war of aggression against Ukraine has wider implications for European and international security. We share the conviction that a diplomatic solution must protect Ukraine's and Europe's vital security interests. The European Union, in coordination with the US and other like-minded partners, will continue to provide political, financial, economic, humanitarian, military, and diplomatic support to Ukraine, as Ukraine is exercising its inherent right of self-defense. It will also continue to uphold and impose restrictive measures against the Russian Federation.
Ukrainian Foreign Minister Andrii Sybiha has said that the most effective way to stop Russia's ongoing invasion is through a united Europe. His remarks came after a meeting of dozens of European allies on Monday and ahead of Friday's planned summit between US President Donald Trump and Russian leader Vladimir Putin.
My key message to European colleagues today is unity. It was our unity that destroyed Russia's plans in February 2022. We cannot allow Russia to destroy our unity now. Today, August 11th, it is exactly 5 months since Ukraine agreed on the US proposal for a full ceasefire. For all this time, Russia has been imitating the peace process, twisting, manipulating, and throwing dust in our eyes. This is Putin's signature tactic and rules, one in which he excels. It is his scenario for continuing the war, avoiding sanctions and responsibility for crimes, and keeping power in Russia.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelenskyy, in his Monday evening address, said that Russia is not seeking peace but further escalation, adding that Ukraine continues to keep its allies informed about the real situation on the battlefield and beyond.
Also today, there was a report from the Intelligence and Military Command about what Putin is counting on and what he is actually preparing for. In particular, this includes military preparations. He is definitely not preparing for a ceasefire or to end the war. Putin is focused solely on portraying a meeting with America as his personal victory and then continuing to act as before, pressuring Ukraine as before. There is no sign whatsoever that the Russians have received signals to prepare for a post-war situation, none so far. On the contrary, they are moving their troops and forces in such a way as to start new offensive operations. We continue to inform our partners about the real situation on the battlefield, in diplomacy, and in Russian planning for further actions.
Russia wants some special rights over European security, which is unacceptable to any European country. That's according to Latvian Foreign Minister Baiba Braže. She added that Latvia's current priorities are strengthening Ukraine's defensive capabilities, introducing further sanction packages, and maintaining the Euro-Atlantic unity.
Russia wants some special rights over European security, which is unacceptable to any European country, and the minister confirmed all of this. Therefore, the three main goals and next steps are, of course, to continue strengthening Ukraine's self-defense capabilities, because Russia is and will remain a threat to European and Euro-Atlantic security. The third goal is to ensure the weakening of Russia by working on further sanction packages, including those from America, and unequivocally maintaining the Euro-Atlantic political unity so that Russia does not succeed in dividing us.
Just days before his planned meeting with Russian leader Vladimir Putin, President Trump seemed to confuse Russia with Alaska during a White House press conference on crime in Washington, D.C. Here's more.
This is an emergency. This is a tragic emergency. And it's embarrassing for me to be up here. You know, I'm going to see Putin. I'm going to Russia on Friday. I don't like being up here talking about how unsafe and how dirty and disgusting this once beautiful capital was.
Even though it was Trump who announced the meeting with Putin will be held in Alaska in a social media post, the U.S. president appeared to have confused the location twice.
Look, let's just do this. Let's do this. It's going to be a big thing. We're going to Russia. That's going to be a big deal. What happens, happens. I'll let you know what happens. You'll be the first to know. I'll be calling the European leaders.
Alaska was purchased from the Russian Empire in the 19th century, hence the possible mistake, unless there is something in the works that has not been revealed yet.
The Alaska meeting, former U.S. counterintelligence officer David DeBarro told TVP World he believes President Trump may push Ukraine to surrender to Russia for personal gain.
He's really trying for a Nobel Peace Prize. That may sound funny to some people or humorous, but it's something he really, really does want. He believes if he stops this war in any way whatsoever, even if that means the unconditional surrender of Ukraine to Russia, that he will be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize. More than that, this is about money. It's always about money. He believes, and he probably is correct, that he's going to open up huge new business possibilities, commercial possibilities, not just for American corporations, but for the Trump Corporation and for himself personally. I know, it's not a secret, that he's been working with deals with the Russian government already. And if he agrees to this semi-capitulation with Ukraine and Russia, that will open up a world of commercial possibilities for him and for American businesses.
Ukraine's military says it has advanced in the country's northeastern Sumy region, retaking 2 villages ahead of the US-Russia peace summit set for Friday. Ukraine's general staff said that its forces had liberated the settlements of Stepne and Novokostiantynivka along the front line in Sumy. The gains follow news on Sunday that Kyiv's military had retaken the village of Bessalivka. Moscow's troops launched an offensive in Sumy earlier this year after President Putin ordered the creation of a buffer zone along the border. The development comes as Russian forces battle to push forward in Ukraine's eastern Donetsk region. According to Bloomberg, an oil refinery in Russia's Saratov region has halted the intake of oil following a Ukrainian drone strike. The facility has a processing capacity of 140,000 barrels of crude per day, and a long operational pause could significantly impact gasoline supplies.
The Rosneft-owned refinery was hit by a drone on August 10th, with witnesses reporting a large fire and several explosions at the facility. The Saratov plant is the third Russian oil refinery to cut operations this month due to Ukrainian strikes. Reuters reports that the Ryazan refinery has halved its production, while the Novokuybishevsk refinery completely halted it after August 2nd drone attacks. The shutdown comes as Russia is attempting to stabilize the domestic petrol market amid surging prices, which are likely exacerbated by Ukrainian strikes on Russia's oil infrastructure.
Russia's ambassador to Serbia said that Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić has responded to Russian claims that Serbian ammunition was being sent to Ukraine.
Citing the Belgrade daily Politica, the Polish press agency writes that the Russian diplomat described the alleged export of arms as a, quote, worrying situation in relations between the two countries. Vučić halted the export of weapons and military equipment produced in Serbia at the end of June. The suspension came after Russia's Foreign Intelligence Service accused Belgrade of selling artillery ammunition to Ukraine through intermediaries in the Czech Republic and Bulgaria.
Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk has warned Russia not to think it can challenge other countries' borders with impunity. He also insisted that no agreement about Ukraine should be made without Ukraine at the table.
For Poland and our European partners, and I hope for all of NATO too, it must be clear that you cannot change borders with force. Russia's war on Ukraine cannot benefit Moscow because it's the aggressor. It is absolutely crucial to us for Russia to understand that the West, including European countries, will not accept Russian demands that simply amount to the seizure of Ukrainian territory. We all know, and this has been confirmed by the US and other NATO allies, that Russia will pose a challenge or even a threat to the region, including Poland, over the next few years. Which is why we cannot allow for Russia to leave this conflict stronger and thinking it's allowed to breach borders and annex territories with impunity, and the world will just stand idly by.
On Monday, the Latvian army launched its Bastion exercises, focused on building fortifications and blocking an aggressor's movements. In the Latgale region, soldiers will practice moving and installing barricades until August 22nd.
As stated by the Latvian National Armed Forces, the aim of the exercise is to improve capabilities of engineer units to delay and limit the movement of the enemy. Apart from placing concrete blocks and bastions made of metal mesh frame and filled with stones, soldiers are also drilling in the use of HESCO barriers. Last year, the Latvian army began storing thousands of heavy stone, reinforced concrete, and metal elements for constructing anti-tank and anti-infantry barriers. It's a part of the Baltic Defense Line, which strengthens NATO's eastern flank and protects against invasion from Russia and Belarus.
More than 100 people detained and Ukrainian nationalist symbols scattered across the scene. That was the fallout from Saturday's concert by Belarusian rapper Max Korsh in Warsaw. But beyond the headlines, what was the real message behind his performance? Anastasia Yanchenko reports.
129 people were detained by police and hundreds of law enforcement officers were deployed to maintain order to a performance by Belarusian singer Max Korsh in Warsaw. The artist drew around 60,000 people to Warsaw's National Stadium. Tickets were sold out within a few hours of going on sale back in September 2024. And his songs have millions of plays on streaming platforms.
Max Korsh is one of the most popular performers in post-Soviet space, a hitmaker whose songs are widely known among young audience. He is the first Russian-language performer to achieve such a success not only in Poland but in Europe.
However, in the Polish capital, Korsz's performances will be remembered as one of the most scandalous concerts of recent years. Hundreds of arrests, littering, public order violations, heavy police involvement. This was the dark side of the long-awaited show, which ended up shocking many local residents. Problems began a day before the concert when fans staged an illegal gathering in Warsaw's Wola district, using flares and fireworks.
An unregistered mass event took place at this location. Hundreds of people were there. The organizers failed to ensure proper security or report the event in accordance with applicable laws. There was very loud music and a huge crowd. The organizers of this unregistered mass event must cover the cleanup costs.
The performance turned out to be no less scandalous, with videos showing chaotic scenes, including arrests, people jumping over security barriers, and both Ukrainian and red and black flags in the crowd, despite a ban on national symbols and security checks at the entrance. The documented presence of red and black flags, which are linked to the Ukrainian insurgent army, and the 1943-44 Volhynian massacres have fueled renewed hostility towards Ukrainian migrants in Poland.
It will be used as a pretext to show that the Ukrainian refugees in Poland are maybe ungrateful towards Poland. It also goes in accord with the Russian propaganda in Poland, which is trying to show Ukrainians as some kind of nationalists or fascists.
Max Korsz has called for peace in Ukraine and condemned Russia's war. In early 2022, he said Belarusians wouldn't fight against Ukraine and later released the song Svoi Dom, supporting those defending their land. Despite this, his tour website still lists planned but unannounced dates in Russia.
His alleged performances in Russia are misinformation spread to fuel divisions among fans. The cities listed on his website and posters are actually from cancelled concerts that were supposed to take place in 2022 but were immediately cancelled after the full-scale war began. He left his native Belarus because he does not support the regime.
Reporting by TVP World's Anastasia Yanchenko.
And that's a wrap for this news bulletin. Thank you for watching and please stay tuned for more.